let's roll scenario. One that has gone from nice, calm, structured planning to mild panic as some Russian T-72s broke through our meagre defences and were threatening to flank our entire position. Thankfully, we managed to address that in the last episode, and so as we rejoin this one, we have a moment of calm. And indeed, that's going to continue because my immediate plans is to take an 11-minute operational pause and wait for our third platoon to arrive. I mean, I won't be completely sitting idle. There's a few things we're going to be busy with in those 10 minutes, but I'm not going to really make a big push on objective musket until we get some additional firepower. So what are we going to do for the next 10 minutes? Well, we've got a few bits and pieces to take care of. Firstly, given we have large volumes of artillery assets still available, I thought I would drop another round of 155s in this section of operating musket because we can see a small concentration of Russian forces, and I thought it would be good to hit them while we can. There's no advantage in taking artillery shells home with you. The other thing we'll do is we're going to maintain our foothold on the edge of musket here to attempt to try and pick off the remaining Russians in the towers, and we'll lean on our Stryker assets to do that without exposing ourselves, or hopefully not exposing ourselves, to any of the BTRs that are still left around. So for example, our 50 cal Stryker just in the corner here, we're going to help get him to clear at the top of this tower. It's mainly just like HQ units we've got, so shouldn't be too much of a threat, but always capable of hurting us every now and then. Then with our second UAV, which is this gentleman, so also was helping us to find and destroy those tanks, I have retasked him, yes, to this area, and we're going to go hunting for any other BTRs. We know there's one in here which is abandoned, but apparently not quite knocked out. There's a second one which disappeared off into these trees. If we can find them, I'm tempted to again try and take them out with artillery. Probably going to use the 120mm mortars because we've got, right, fire support team. We've got I've only got 4 more precision rounds, but it's worth it. I'm not going to use them. I'm certainly using them against tanks, although I don't know if they'd punch through or not. Not something I've tried, but I suspect it's enough to knock out a BTR, and hopefully we'll find out. I'm also going to pick up all my casualties. So it's not something which really matters from a gameplay perspective beyond salvaging equipment, but it's something I do like to do when I get the chance, is to buddy aid all my wounded pixel trooping. The only one which I think might be of actual gameplay advantage is our marksman's team coming down here and picking up the M111, which hopefully will. You might find they both go on the marksman. I'm not sure. It depends who does the buddy aid, but we might recover a second sniper rifle. Everywhere else, okay, we're going to pick up some grenades and things, but there's no other really key equipment we need to get. But I do like to go around and clean up the bodies, as it were. I don't have too many. There's this squad just got decimated by artillery. So there's four of these chaps lying on the hill over here, and there's still a couple of X-Men trooping over here. So we're just going to go and tidy all that up. The only maybe forward-looking plays I want to make, beyond hunting for enemy vehicles, is to reposition our fire support team, which has been just kind of scouting for us in this building. I'm going to load them up in one of the infantry strikers, and I'm going to send them, round this kind of back way, with the potential to try and get into this church, or this churchy-looking building anyway, and just to set up a kind of a scout post to see if we can get some eyes over the rest of this terrain. I'm going to do that fairly cautiously, not looking to get in the fight, but I would like to see what's going on. We have seen some infantry contacts potentially around here, so we'll just have to bear that in mind. And I have reorientated my defensive tomahawk to address any spots coming from this direction. And then the final piece is going to be, I would like to eventually clear out this man-pad on this hill before we get use of our helicopters. So a combination of finding and taking out those BTRs, plus I'm probably going to task one of these strikers to come and clear out what's left there. And that's about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably put a cut in here. It may be a fairly lengthy one. Like if we find something juicy, a target to spot and strike, we'll let you know. If something goes horribly wrong, I'll let you know. But otherwise, hopefully, we should come back. It's in. I mean, I'm going to say in 10 minutes. It's never going to be 10 minutes, but we'll come back at some point in the future. Didn't even get 1 minute before something happened that's worth talking about. Suppose infantry contacts have resolved themselves to some Russians taking position in this building. Thankfully, our kind of directions that southward facing defenders are in a position to readily engage them. RPGs do have me worried. They can certainly cause a lot of damage. Did you just use a javelin against infantry? I mean, okay. Fair play, fantastic result. But if a BTR or a T-72 suddenly rolls into the picture, I'm going to be a less than happy chap. We're saying that was quite spectacular. Okay, so I was going to say we're actually well positioned, although it doesn't have a solid spot, to use hose down that top story using the 50 cal. Don't think I have any other strikers which actually have line of sight, but apparently we don't need to because my men are just throwing javelins at the problem. Speaking of which, do you have? That's over here. No, you don't. Anyone have any more? This infantry carrier back. Oh, this one has 2 javelins. Okay, so I think before I send my scout marauding, I'm going to bring him in and reload this team with the javelins. Cool. Okay, I was going to maybe stick around for a bit of a fight, but I think this is pretty much over. We'll mop up and things good enough. So, yeah. Positive outcome, if frustrating. Things have been progressing relatively well. So we're just for the 106 mark. Unfortunately, it seems that we are not the only ones trying to utilise our artillery assets at the minute. And I guess I'm probably calling them one of these various teams, and we get pretty good precision strike. Although, interestingly, the one that hits the building doesn't do much damage, and then the nearby splash kills my sniper, which is a bit frustrating because they've been doing a stellar job actually, and the radio operator didn't pick up the other sniper. I wonder if this guy actually had them both. I do sometimes see that. No, he didn't. Not this time. First explosion. He's okay. Shrapnel into the window. GG. Because I had put that in position. Because look, who's still kicking about? Hello. Like a bad smell you can't get rid of. For all our efforts, we've still got 80 gem position there. We do have visibility from our machine gun. Currently on floor 3. I'm probably going to move them up one to give a better angle of attack and see if we can't finish them off once and for all. UAV's not spotting much, so I'm just going to try and move it around. This is the abandoned BTR. We haven't seen the one which ran away. Otherwise, we've seen a little bit of Russian troop movements, launched through grenades at them with our Stryker automatic grenade launcher. That things are fairly steady. So, we'll come back in a few. This is maybe not momentous in terms of the mission, but I enjoyed this, so I thought I wanted to share it. So things as were, so about a whole minute later, our artillery barrage is dropping down. Fortunately, so is a Russian one, but hasn't caused any other damage. What enjoys here is the sniper team, so your radio operator here, who's just got an M4A1, but with underslung grenade launcher of M320, decides he is not going to be outdone by his high-performing, albeit dead colleagues, and decides to pop off a grenade at, I don't know, a couple of 100 meters, bang on target, hits the right turret of that BTR, and finally knocks it out. Now, granted, it wasn't a threat, doesn't really change the strategic outlook, but I enjoyed his umbrage. I mean, that's a great shot. Knocked out. Beautiful, beautiful. Since we're here, so strikes coming down. I also am leaning, as you can see, on our automatic grenade launcher on the Stryker just to clear one of the towers, which is the pesky HQ unit that wouldn't go down, which has gone down now. Nice to see. And we've got our machine gun team peppering the ATGM position over here as well. So all pretty positive, and we've even got a third squad about to turn up and join the fun. Still 2 BTRs up and running, so things we do have to be careful about. I may try and take at least one of them out with the javelin from this tower. But we do have to watch out for artillery, which continues to slam down vaguely near us, albeit not causing us too many problems so far, but only connected to one hit. The only other thing worth mentioning are these sound contacts over here, which has got me mildly terrified. So I have redrafted UAV over here and halted this chap's advance to see if we can get some confirmation that they are indeed the tanks we think they are, and hopefully try and take them out of action. Grand. So if we get some positive spots, I'll let you know. Okay, so we're getting ever closer to the 1 hour mark, and a couple of things worth talking about. So we've seen some infantry spots. It looks like the Russians are trying to reinforce the musket objective. So to counter that, I've got a 3rd squad here, and I'm going to move the Stryker to hopefully get a little bit of a keyhole position. He may be too late to kind of spray some of this infantry. But I'm also getting the machine gun team to get into the base of this tower. We do know there's Russian infantry in the bottom floor of this building. There's also the BTRs. I think we should be protected from them by the wall. And hopefully we can inflict some casualties. I'm also rushing over the command Stryker to take up a flying position. Again, he may be too late, and I've got to keep an eye on this AT asset, because we still haven't taken out, although we do have our machine gun fully deployed and giving him a bad time. The other thing I had mentioned, trying to use those precision 120 mortar shells to take out BTRs, and I've just tasked, I put task mission into fire against this one. Sorry, I just realised this BTR is knocked out, and I somewhat negligent in understanding what knocked it out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that was a fire mission or something else. Huh, there you go. Observant as ever. Other thing I really wanted to talk about as well was we found a tank on this flank, which I'm glad I didn't go marauding into with our Stryker and our fire support team here. And we've done our usual. We've called in our 155 precision using the middle battery, which we had 12 left, I think. I always do that. One day I'll get it right. 12, yes, another 4 missions, so hopefully we can take out another couple tanks. We'll see. We've only got 1 solid spot thus far. Also trying to push around a little bit here. Again, just try and clear this back field, as it were. Limited success. But let's, well, let's hang around, see some live action. See if our mortar rounds come in on target. And see if we can catch these reinforcements. Russian artillery still continues to play its part. I'd love for him to just be knocked out. Ooh, there's a precision strike. Not so precise. Right. There was a happening over here. So they are... Okay, they're just... Oh, let's go back a little bit. So it looks like they had just about made it to the actual entrance when we finally got our troops in position. Okay, yeah, that's a good clip of one of them. Maybe all it is. Okay. Some reinforcements. Which leads me to think I wouldn't mind dropping another 155 barrage in amongst this area. Right, things I need to check on. Firstly, who all has turned up in this tower now? Got the AT crew, and then it's just more infantry. Oh, HQ unit, okay. Okay, which we are handling from a couple positions, it looks like. I did want to check out what that explosion was. Whether it's just artillery, make sure I'm not missing something else.
Target, end of mission. Target suppressed, out.
I'm going to pull him back as well now that we're not, we don't need him to have a goalless flanking force. just outside. Okay. But it doesn't look like our precision strike was up to much, unfortunately. I'll probably get it on the go. Precise and sliced. It's not really doing much else with our 120mm shells, so I might as well put them to good use. And I think I will call another 155 in this little area, because it seems to be where they're concentrating in this corner musket. But we'll do the precision strike first. We've not had any more contact with the infantry that came over in this direction. And got a bit of a beating, it seems to have gone to ground. Which I'm okay with. Cool. Alright, well, yeah, let's do that actually. So we're going to use the last of our precision strikes just to see if they can maybe get the job done on the last known vehicle in this objective. Strike that vehicle, please. Both of you. Precision. Gen. 1 minute, perfect. We'll still. There is another tank. Okay, 2 tanks, 12 shells. We'll see if we can get the job done. I would like you to deploy your weapon, which is going to slow down your rate of fire for a little bit, but c'est la vie. I'm edging my MGS into position, but there's still, I'm pretty sure there's still one BTR lurking in here somewhere. I'd like to try and find that. A UAV spot absolutely nothing. Reversed off into these trees, so you could still be hanging about in these trees, and I don't want to get myself shot to pieces. That's long short of it. Okay. Come all back up, and you can pick up the Troop HQ again, who's been doing some medicing for me. Is that everyone? We'll get the last of your men. That should be all our injured accounted for, he says. Right, it's the ground floor building. I will deal with that. And I should, next time we come back, should be for, well, a couple of precision strikes. Not quite getting to precision strikes. Because unbeknownst to me are... Where are you? Yes, our M1128 MGS here actually spots the AT team. Promise you it does happen. Like so. We'll use one of its high explosive rounds. I'm surprised given the tree density there. However, takes out the last AT squad, and that one is abandoned. This threat has been nullified, so we now have a bit more free reign around the front, and actually, I will just back this guy off, would be useful to bring that automatic grenade launcher to play, although we have another one kicking around once we have alleviated that BTR for messing up infantry and buildings. Not that there's huge amounts left. Good. Okay, this time when we come back, it'll be precision rounds. Okay, as promised, we have our precision strikes online. So first up comes our 155 against our tanks. So I think we were 3 for 4 at this stage. 3 tanks for 4 missions, strikes. Yeah, that's probably the biggest miss that we've seen to date. Not ideal. Next up, well, actually, we're going to have precision strike on our BTR, but before that, slightly giving the game away, but our scouting forces, which was the engineering support vehicles of Stryker and the lone driver, trying to find out what was going on over here, seems to have stumbled into some Russian infantry. Initially took a near miss, damaged some wheels, was reversing out of the way, and gets followed up by, kind of handheld AT weapon. Is a bit unfortunate, which leaves this gentleman rather exposed. So probably just hold the line here rather than push forward any further. Oh, and then our precision strikes for our mortars, again completely miss. So that's us out of precision shells for our 120 mils against these BTRs. So I think what I'm going to do is utilize this gentleman with the javelin off the tower to take out the BTR from there. However, one advantage is we just got a notification is that our air assets are online. So we can absolutely utilize them to go after the 2 tanks as well. As far as musket goes, I'm relatively comfortable. I'm a bit frustrated about its loss. So I'll just have to resist the temptation to try and mop up and concentrate on the objectives themselves. Now the big question we have here, and I know you're not JTAC. Do I just want to send... Oh, it's not even the right fire support. Do I just want to send my 2 helicopters in right now against 2 tanks, hold on to the Excalibur shells, or do I want to try again with Excaliburs? Well, I need to do in 2 separate missions anyway. Although once you've radioed it in, you should be okay. I have no idea what they have in terms of man pads in this neck of the woods, to be fair. Let's use our helicopters. We've got them. They've got what they got. What they're rocking. 70mm high explosives and 30mm. Oh no, here we go. Hellfire ATGMs. I knew they had anti-missiles on them, anti-tank missiles on them. So let's do it. Let's give you a target strike. No. I want to do a precision. Can I please? Point target. Said tank. Heavy, obviously. Do it immediately. Confirm. And I think I should be able to send another mission after you've radioed that one in, so I don't have to wait the full 7 minutes. If I'm remembering correctly. Now, obviously, it'll be a lot quicker with our JTAC team, but they do not have control of the drone. Nor can they see over here, so. But that would only be 5 minutes for them. But 2 minutes, it's not the worst thing in the world. Well, we can, as long as they don't move, we should give it a go. Meanwhile, let's prepare to use the rest of, use some more of our 155s, I believe. Who's got what left? 1990. So much of this stuff left. I feel like I should be using it a lot more. Still got I've still got 40 odd 120mm mortars as well. I'd like you to hammer this section of this objective, not emergency. Again. Letting you area target here. Actually, I'm quite happy with that. 3. I'm going to go heavy. I'm going to go long. I'm going to general. 4 minutes. Bring us in direct. Max them. And then while that starts falling, or when it starts falling, I'm also going to get my javelin team up. And my idea is hopefully I can suppress the small known bits of infantry, so we can just knock out this BTR. And then pretty good position. Also would like to, I shouldn't really be doing also on camera, but I am, reposition Stryker vehicle. I'm not sure if you can get through this gap. Well, we'll do this and see, find out. Come around this side. Now that we know there's no tanks there because we killed them all, and just to help knock out that HQ unit. Excellent. Well-ish, but generally going okay. So yeah, I'll probably put another cut in the camera, come back when our 3rd platoon show up. They're late, so we'll see when they turn up. Although, having said that, we've managed to clear most of musket with just the guys we've got, so perhaps we don't need them. Seems to be doing it with the meager forces we have at our disposal. Then the question is, do we really want to retask them for cannon? Although if I was doing that, to be honest, I could probably just come in this way and ignore this part of town. We shall see. We shall see. As ever, we never get very far without having to come back for something, and it would appear the infantry we bumped into earlier, at least I'm assuming it's the same infantry, could be a whole other platoon, is now switched over to the left to help defend musket. However, given that we have just moved the Stryker into flanking force and the machine gun team against this tower, I think this is going to go pretty badly for them. Which is good. And actually very good shot from the tower. Now, but one downside here is that you'll see our javelin team, who were supposed to be here to take care of this BTR, decided he got enough of vision off the artillery support to have a go at it. It's not as big a threat, it's only got a machine gun on it. Our vehicles could have handily taken that out, and I'm not worried he's going to get himself killed, because it brought attention we were not after. So I may have to see what I can do. He does have one more shot, thanks to the platoon HQ commander who's carrying around another javelin missile. And I would rather he used it against this fine fellow. I might get you to come downstairs for the next minute. And then wait until this artillery starts falling before moving you back up and give you a proper target order. But I'm quite pleased with how this is going. We should be able to inflict fairly heavy casualties and probably force them to hold up in that house. Okay, so I think the next thing we're going to be waiting for is the what you call it? Artillery barrage, which is going to give us cover for our javelin attack. I brought it back early, as ever, because there was an interesting one I wanted to talk about just as I was watching this replay, and a bit of action as our 50 cal gets involved. Oh, actually decimates the HQ team there. But reinforcing infantry is taking some casualties, which is good. Just run down. But you will see this is what we're going to talk about. The Stryker deciding to pop smoke and run away, which we had seen a little bit of this behaviour in the last mission, and I don't know if it's driven by the fact that the Russians, which you see coming in here, I mean they have obviously got their handheld AT weapons, which is okay something, and then this another squad coming here, HQ coming behind them. But I mean, really, AT weapons in the open, that's a big enough threat that you want to pop smoke? I mean, okay, sure you're rattled. I can accept you have some concerns, but it just feels OTT. And annoyingly, not only do we remove the Stryker from the action, but it's going to miss that smoke up in front of my engineer. So the rest of the squad is going to be able to make its merry way inside this corner of its objective without coming under our enfilading fire. Is pretty frustrating all round, to be perfectly honest. We will have some fire from obviously our forces in the tower over here, but that's not really the point. Okay, actually, it looks like we've done enough damage to convince him to run away, which is good. But yeah, disappointing behaviour from the Stryker there. This also may give us what we need. Yeah, maybe not. You're going to be a threat now. Okay, anyway. I thought it was interesting behaviour. I want to bring you back and talk about that. Yeah, cool. It would seem that reinforcing platoon was indeed a separate one, as we get another contact over this area. Or I suppose this could be a second one. Either way, there's more than one Russian platoon bombing around the place. Although he doesn't take very long, running through a well-placed 50 cal. So pleased with that. The Russians also seem to be taking up a bit of position in amongst this building. Will we still try and get into musket? Do often push down whenever we push forward, which is good to see. However, things don't go all our own way. As you can see here, the Russian artillery keeps striking down, and unfortunately, they finally get a direct hit on our second infantry carrier vehicle for our Stryker, and that takes it out. It's a bit unfortunate, but okay, they've got to come good sometimes. Meanwhile, one of the Russians infantry decided to take a slightly more advanced position, and is eating a large volume of automatic grenades for his troubles. We just start to spread our way along these buildings and just really kind of take control of musket. Generally, things are going well. Every now and again, a bit of an upset. And as you can see, we've got an HQ unit set up on the roof here. So I think what we're going to do is switch up our positioning over here on Tomahawk, so we can put down some additional firepower. I'm less worried about receiving lots of fire from musket, given how good a job I think we've done in terms of knocking out their combat capabilities. Let's get you guys over there. In fact, let's get you this side of the building. Ask you guys to come join us. This side of the building. Hopefully you both have angles onto that rooftop to take out the HQ team. But yeah, otherwise I think we're okay. Still waiting on this artillery barrage, which should be falling soon. Every time. Okay, just waiting for spot runners to come in. And I did confirm you can't give another order while they're receiving, but I think you can, between them starting their attack and actually hitting, I think you don't have to wait for them to finish before you can start the next one. So you will give that after the next 5 minutes or so. But yeah, apart from that, steady as we were. And again, once this artillery starts falling, I'm going to get our javelin team here up onto the roof to try and knock out that BTR. starting to clear the western end, eastern end even, of this compound. Just utilizing mass firepower to get their buildings where required. Seems to be getting the job done. Topping a little bit more fire than we desired from the positions over here, so we'll have to pull back these engineers, lest we suffer casualties. We're still waiting on artillery. Our spotting rounds have been pretty poor, and I'm slightly worried about striking my own troops, to be perfectly honest. Improved, so we'll have to see where they end up. Meanwhile, third troop has finally arrived, so I'm currently bringing them in just to kind of a holding area behind Tomahawk, and then we'll decide to push forward with them. We are inflicting casualties upon the HQ team that was up on this roof. Many of them left now, actually. But we took one casualty of our own from some other Russian positions, which you can see these indicators for. So minor skirmishes, but generally things are going okay. Let's then quickly pull you guys back, I think. Don't really want you to take too much unnecessary damage. Not until we can bring more forces to bear, or really until we start hitting things with artillery. Well, although we could. How much ammo have you got? Not huge amounts. I just hold you there for just now. That's fine. Yeah, so, and then we've got to decide what it is we want to do with these guys. I think first off, I'm just going to use them to help clear out musket. And then we may decide whether it's worth trying to push in towards cannon, probably directly through this route. Or circuitous, so we can avoid any of the Russian defences still up and running in the town. But as we talked previously, it's not the priority. And we finally obviously identified the infantry, which I think took out the engineering support vehicle. Just looks like a squad pulled up in the woods and made good use of their AT weapons. Okay, so that's probably where things are. Choppers, I think, should be in the air. Yeah, en route. So we'll see what happens there. Slow. I'd probably be quicker just using the Excalibur artillery, but there you go. Okay. Back in a jiff. Okay, our helicopter is flagged as coming around. Okay, I've just started replay. So I'm expecting the attack to happen hopefully this minute. We've also had our barrage finally on target and it's just starting to drop. Ooh. Alright, that was pretty easy. Pish bash boss, job done. And let's swing back over here then. No, let's watch that again and then we'll swing back over here. So it took a little bit of time, but that was quite a simple and satisfying result. I think we're just going to do the same again for his friend. Hey. Nice. Okay, so the barrage is falling. It has given us two interesting opportunities. First is it destroyed the section of the wall, so I've actually detached an anti-tank team to come into the bottom floor of this building, as well as a javelin man over here, so hopefully either of them can take out this final BTR. Meanwhile, the 155 hopefully inflicting lots of juicy casualties, and I'd like them to take out this vehicle just to get the job done, to be perfectly honest. A lot of smoke, so it might be a difficult spot. There you close. See who makes the his spot first. Oh, it's these guys. And there we go. Simples. I take it that was just your AT4. Yeah, unused javelin. I'm actually quite impressed by just how quickly you just got into position. Down you go. That was a grenade. It wasn't even an AT4. Question is, are you still going to use your javelin on it? Oh, this is dangerous if he gets a response. Please don't fire. Well, he might miss. We shall see. Okay, nice. And then we do still have I mean, he's not much of a threat, but also machine gun can definitely hurt infantry. And there's not a lot left of this building, so I think we're in a good place for pushing through and clearing out. We are absolutely going to stick with this one live, see what happens here. But before we do that, let us grab. I mean, yes, it's nice. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, don't worry about that. Let's. Oh, I used the one with the precision ammunition to do the drop in. I was going to give my my JTAC control of one of these drones. I think I'm going to do that anyway, actually. Point target. There's your vehicle. Heavy, immediate. 7 minutes, quite a long time. Okay, sorry for a slightly jarring cut there. My recording software had a little bit of a flaky, so I just had to jump in here. Thankfully, didn't pick up pretty early, so I haven't really missed anything. In fact, the only thing I'll have to reiterate was that I relinquished control of one of the drones, and I've given it to the JTAC team. So after we've obviously finished the strike against the T-72, they can then utilize quicker call-ins, and then after the strike against the T-72, the fire support team controlling that drone can go back to using their artillery assets. So everything's arranged a little bit more how it should be, hopefully giving faster call-in, or definitely giving faster call-in times. We are continuing to clear objective Musket. Only last, I mean, I say real threat. Obviously, the infantry do pose a threat, but there is one armoured vehicle here, which does have a machine gun on it, as we've noticed previously. Now, because of the smoke and dust, I cannot, cannot target it directly. What I've done, taking my my Stryker over here, and I've targeted the action square essentially behind the vehicle. Now, as you can see, at the minute where my Stryker is, it looks like it's mainly going to hit the side of this building, which is why I've then given him the order to reverse in this direction, so it's going to kind of pull his target line over to this way. As you can see when I clear the mist and smoke, hopefully that should go right through this guy before the smoke clears and we get some incoming fire. Apart from that, we're just kind of leaving our troops where they were, trying to pick off the remnants of the Russian forces. We're also using our vehicles to support both 50 cal on the Stryker as well as the automatic launcher on this one. We're starting to kind of move around just to try and secure the objectives. We'll start putting some more people in these towers, and I probably do want to move off some of these fine fellows at some point. You aren't really being much used to me at the moment. Do I want to move you up a tower or move you over? I think I might move you around to try and get set up in a separate tower. Let's start you doing that. Let's get you come down, and you can just have a bit of a jog, unlug your heavy machinery around in this direction. Perhaps to join our engineers in that tower. Okay, never think things on the fly. We don't have time for that. Let's hang about and we'll watch probably this bit of action, because I'm keen to see if this works. Random fire doesn't look like it's hitting anything. Oh, and then just switch target. And now you're driving away. Well, it wasn't really the plan. Where are you going? Some Russian artillery, I believe. Okay. Is you popping? Okay, I'm gonna have to work out what happened to you as well. Okay, a couple of interesting things happening there. That was almost like a near-on hit. Okay, let's. I'm assuming some of the Russian soldiers popped a grenade at you, which is why you tried to run away. defend target 2. Okay, so, oh, okay, it does have a RPG. I guess that's definitely seen as a threat. And that's why you then chose to back off. Yep. We got him. Okay. I'm guessing that's also why you chose to maybe back off at that point. Having seen what you consider to be a threat. I feel like they're a little bit too nervous, the Strikers. You get up all the way over here. Then why'd you pop smoke? I can't believe how much you're tugging yourself in this little corner. Okay, we got sight of a lone Russian here who got taken out with engineers. Good job, engineers. Being fairly fast and loose with these fine fellows. Or perhaps it wasn't the engineers at all, actually. Oh. Getting ahead of myself. It was the engineers, yeah. Good. And then you decide to pop smoke. Bizarre. Okay, but no casualties. We still have to deal with this vehicle. But generally things going okay. Alright, that's annoying. That little shoot for the smoke trick didn't work, but we'll rearrange it. Meanwhile, I think I may have mentioned already, we're kind of staging our third platoon over here. I think I'm going to get them probably to try and move in on this area once we've got visibility, and then we'll make a decision whether we want to push on forward. First of all, we're going to secure the flanks here. So what I'll do is I'll probably put another... Oh no, ooh, hang on, before I put another cut in. What happened to our friends here? Is it artillery strikes? Either way of it. Which isn't... well, we can do certain things about it. But is that objective defense with a good chance that we're going to be here? To take one casualty from it. Not the worst, a single casualty. But disappointing nonetheless. Oh. 2 casualties. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably put a cut in here. I'll finish clearing it here. If anything interesting comes back, we'll bring it back. Otherwise, maybe when we're staged and ready to move in on that objective. Or more likely when we get our eyes in the skies from our JTAC team. I'll see you then. Very quick rejoin, because just as I was about to play in the next minute, I noticed this chap was aiming. Which may remove our little friend here from the equation. And it does. I'm not saying, I wouldn't say it's a vehicle necessarily worth a javelin missile, but well, it's out the way now, and I suppose that's all we can do. Awesome. And actually, because this wall has been annihilated, it actually opens up, we can bring in some of our strikers on this flank if we're worried about the last few remnants of Russians. It was actually vaguely useful for getting the last of my little troops into position to take these towers. Okay, anyway, I just want to try to javelin strike and I've got distracted. That's it, we'll come back later. So we haven't quite finished clearing out musket, but we have rather unfortunately, well, we fortunately discovered the last that was part of this reinforcement column. We knew it was around here somewhere but couldn't locate it. Unfortunately, after spotting it with our machine gun team who took up residence in this tower, it manages to spot the top of our Stryker over the top of this wall quite happily and annihilates our lost. Is frustrating. Which makes this fellow... Sorry. That's not the grenade launcher variant. I'm getting my Stryker's mixed up. Oh no, it is a grenade launcher. I take it back. It is what I thought it was. So he's now out of action. He's now nothing more than an armoured taxi. We'll have to decide what, if anything, we want to do about that. Fine, fellow. We do still have our MGS lurking back here. I don't want to try and pick too much of a fight. I may just have to look around for a javelin somewhere, and we'll get them up in position. I'm probably going to pull this machine gun team out, or at least have them face it internally. I don't want them to start picking a fight with this infantry, and then it'll just get annihilated. But that's one thing. Oh, also, I think I reference this as being a Russian artillery, which is nonsense. This is, of course, the tail end of my own artillery strike. I'd forgotten about in that moment. So not all going our way, but we're getting there. There's very few Russians left, and we're just kind of using suppressive fire and lots of it to slowly whittle them down. Okay, and we're heading towards 40-minute work. After 7 minutes or so, our helicopters have come round for their attack on the second tank. And it goes much like the first one less T-72. Both ones over there now taken care of. We have also spotted the BTR, which we knew was in around here earlier. It was actually weirdly tucked in, actually, underneath the this balcony. So I've ordered an airstrike off our JTAC team, which will take another 4 minutes. It was 5 minutes originally. So we'll see if it takes it out. We are going to move the our third platoon in to take this building regardless. Meanwhile, we'll continue to clear out the last few remnants, but we are taking casualties, and see we've taken 2 deaths in this squad, which isn't so good. And we also have our JTAC team coming over here with hopefully to take care of this BTR and to free up any threats from this side. All that being said, I think we've probably just about reached time for today, so we'll come back next time. I had hoped to get all the way to 40 minutes, but c'est la vie. I think we've burnt enough daylight, so we'll come back. I think there's probably 1, maybe 2 episodes, and it depends how. If we get aggressive, probably 2. If we decide to rest in our laurels, it's going to be 1. It's going to depend when we task the drone from here as we start heading out towards Cannon, just exactly what we see. But that's for next time. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll catch you then. Cheerio.